Who is this guy from the Horizon Zero Dawn E3 2016 trailer? Since he's not in the game, I mean this whole scene was cut from Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's unpack this mystery that might give us a hint at the possible DLC location. Another hint. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that like button. You probably remember this Horizon Zero Dawn trailer. It was shown before E3 2016, so in June 2016. It gave us a first glimpse at the story of Horizon Zero Dawn. What's interesting is that a lot of the cutscene footage we see in the trailer ended up being in the game, like you expect from a trailer. Like this one, of course, the first part where little Aloy finds her focus, here where she grows older, and here where she talks with Rust. But two interesting things that were in the trailer are not in the game at all. Like I already showed you, I'm talking about this part where this face turns, we don't know who that is, and then later Aloy talks to the same guy and then later walks with him. And yes, that Aloy is walking through the woods was also not in the game, but that's of course not from a cutscene. That was just to show parts of the world in a cinematic way. Just like this scene with all the machines. We know this doesn't make sense, to Thunderjaws, a freaking Tolmec in a sort of open area, but that's not all tied to the story, while these two scenes suggest that they are tied to the story because Aloy is talking here. Yet they were not in the final product.
You can help, or you can get out of my way.
Then be ready for the darkness.
So what is Aloy implying here? She wants help from this guy, or he should just not bother her? What's interesting about this is the location. We are first in something that could be Mother's Cradle, with a ton of candles of course. Then later they walk through something that also could be Mother's Cradle, or just another ruins from the old ones. Good to note is that the voice we hear at the end of this scene is from the voice actor of Rust. You see him talk throughout the whole trailer, and he also announced via Twitter that when this trailer went live that he did the voiceover. So it's clear that Aloy is talking to someone from the Banuk tribe. Banuk of course being a tribe that wears gear pieces from machines, and that's a sort of religion where they live in peace and harmony with the machines as well. They have to prove themselves all the time, they're hunters and shamans. So the guy we see here is a shaman for sure. So why would Aloy be with a shaman? I mean, it's also interesting that if you look at the launch trailers, we also see a lot of Banuk singing songs, painting stuff on the wall, but in the end this was not in the game as well. Of course this was more promotion, but why would Guerrilla Games focus so much on this well-realized tribe while it's only part of one small side quest? At least for now. As I noted many times before, we of course have this interesting road in the game that we can access, but then the game asks you to go back. What's interesting is that there are still like things going on there, so a potential area that we can visit later on. Then there's also the fact that in the art book of Guerrilla Games, they talk about players when talking about the land of Banuk called Ban-Ur. Quote, Banuk territory is truly unique. Rock formations are not crumbled, instead they are canvassed with color. The vast basin-like composition of rocked plains surrounded by mountains suggests to players that tough challenges lie ahead. But still, Ban-Ur is a land that we haven't finished yet Guerrilla Games is talking about players. So there are many things that point toward a DLC in this area. Just like the shaman in this E3 2016 trailer, maybe they cut it out to then later use it in DLC. I find it hard to believe, but it could be possible. What I found out is that the guy in this trailer is based on concept art from Suzanne that works at Guerrilla Games. Although it's slightly different, it's still kind of the same machine-inspired helmet. There are things all over his body and the face. I really think that it is based on this concept art. This guy does not appear in the side quest A Moment's Peace, where, like I said, you visit a Banuk campment in the game. It could be that he was just a concept for now, and that they later replace him with someone else that is now a huge part in the game. It could be Silence. We know he's a Banuk. At the end of the E3 2016 trailer, we also see Aloy getting grabbed by a guy with a mask, but of course this guy ends up being Helis in the game during the proving. So why would they not show Helis' face in the trailer? The only reason I can think of is that maybe they did not know what the guy with the mask would look like, that it would look like how Helis does right now. It's of course still interesting to know that this scene was still in the game, while the scene with the Banuk in Mother's Cradle probably was not, it was cut out. Still though, it could apply that this Banuk guy was supposed to be Silence, that they did not have all the facial animations in place, or simply did not know he was going to look like actor Lance Reddick. So maybe they made him a random Banuk character, and that would explain why Aloy is saying to him, help or get out of my way. You could also say though that why is silence in Mother's Cradle if this is indeed Mother's Cradle? Well, yeah, I think it looks like it. So there are a couple of things that we still don't know in piece of this puzzle. So I'm curious. I mean, of course it was obvious that changes are made from June 2016 when they showed this trailer to February 2017. Although, I still think it's weird that the focus on the Banuk, like the concept art that we saw, the fact that he was in the trailer, and that there's a road, there's so much focus on this tribe while we don't really see a lot of it in the game. Personally, I think it's hard to believe that we will see this exact scene like later on in DLC, but this could point towards a more important role for the Banuk later on, that they thought, okay, let's focus on this first and do this kind of Banuk thing that we first wanted to kind of mix in between the Horizon Zero Dawn story later in a separate DLC. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. It would be hard though making DLC after the ending of Horizon Zero Dawn, and I will explain why in a video that will be up tomorrow or by the time you watch this. So be sure to subscribe for everything on Horizon Zero Dawn, like the video if you did, and I will speak to you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye.